Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our scenario is Sunspots. It was written by David Sokolowski and is available from drivethrurpg.com. Our game master is Tyler Hudak, and this is episode 4. Our recap will be given by David Gasaway. So, without further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. David?
Well, as far as we know, it's still February 1926. Although time has been strange since we got to Red Valley. Our friend Dan Peterson asked us to help retrieve his daughter Susan, who refused to return from a church retreat. We visited her college, read her diary, got stuck in a blizzard, finally arrived in the small vacation village of Red Valley, where things are not as they should be. In the midst of a terrific blizzard elsewhere, it's warm and sunny here and the days are long. People are suntanned and confused, and there are several competing cults that we've met. We found Susan's pastor, but he declared her apostate. We found Susan, and she disappeared in a flash of blinding light emitted from a stone that she held in her hand. She disappeared, and her father, and one of our party. And we discovered ourselves hours later standing where we'd found her. We met a cultist of Apollo named Celia. She also had a glowing stone, which one of our party tried to steal from her unsuccessfully. Eventually we learn that the stones were sold out of a shop here in town called Shining Soul, S-O-L for the sun. And after deliberation, we break into the place, a few of us. In it, we find that there are no more stones to be had, that there's a register saying that there were 35 stones sold for $20 each. The cash that came from that and mysterious, unintelligible writing on it and notes scribbled in English, and we take this document. Meanwhile, there's an explosion somewhere nearby, and rushing to the scene, we see a cop car headed toward the beach of the lake in the vacation town. A policeman confronts another policeman at the beach, and the deputy Marks, who's being confronted with insubordination, holds a stone toward his superior, which emits an even more blinding light and reduces the sheriff to a pile of dust. The worshippers on the beach cheer this event and scream together, "Ramses, son of Ra." On the document that we've taken from the mysterious shop, we find an unusual word written, Azathoth.
Okay, with that, we will begin. We'll start with Oscar, because Oscar, you have been kind of out of it since the night before, where you had found the person you were looking for. You found Susan, and there was the bright light, and then nothing. Since then, well, we'll kind of skip ahead to what is the present time there, where you find yourself on the beach. Okay. You're surrounded by a number of people, all screaming out for Ramses, and you see in front of you them lift up a man and start tearing off his shirt and start taking this soot and just rubbing it on him, almost like they're anointing him with it. And throughout this whole time, they're screaming, "Ramses, Ramses." And at about this time, this is when you kind of come to your senses, not knowing how you got here, not knowing how long you've been here, but just that the fact that you're surrounded by all of these people.
Cool.
How do you react?
Well, I'm pretty so the last thing I remember, just to clarify, is the blinding light grabbing Daniel, just pulling back from blinding light, and now I'm kind of come to, it's daylight now again. Oh, so it's daylight. I'm in the middle of the beach, and they're rubbing soot on this dude.
Yeah, and you're just surrounded by almost 100 people, if not more, just lining the beach. When you look around, you can see that you're almost toward or near the end of the boardwalk, so you're not too far down. And you kind of look down at yourself, and you're a little bit disheveled.
Yep.
And your clothes are a little bit more tattered than they were. Although you feel fine. I mean, you're a little bit tan.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you're not hungry. You're not thirsty. You're just very confused as to where you're at.
Do I still have like my signet ring and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. So I'm fairly shaken by this. So I'm gonna do a sanity check just because that whole fiasco for me was pretty not normal. And that is a pass. So
Okay.
I'm okay, but I'm pretty shaken.
Yeah, you're definitely shaken. Give me a POW roll as well.
A power roll? Yeah, sure. Okay, I got a 24. Yep.
So that's a pass.
Yeah, it's a hard pass.
Okay, so while everybody is lifting this guy up and just yelling out Ramses and exclaiming his virtues, you almost feel a little bit drawn to him, and
Okay.
it takes you a second to figure out why. And you see that he's holding one of those stones
Right.
in his hand, and you're not drawn to him. You feel almost a drawing to the stone, but it passes quickly. You kind of pull yourself together. You're starting to gather your wits.
Yeah, the last time I encountered one of these stones, I remember what happened. So I'm starting to back away. I'm just kind of like, I don't want to be here. My plan at this point is going, okay, I need to get myself back to the guys, back to the hotel. I don't know what's happened, but I don't feel safe here, especially around someone else who's got one of these stones.
Right.
So I'm just slowly kind of not trying to bring too much attention to myself, which I'm fairly good at. And I'm just sort of backing away and slipping out of sight as best I can.
So you start backing up the beach. You get about to where the road is. Right about where the road meets the boardwalk is where you get to. And you see Robert and Butch. Robert is kind of like pulling Butch down the road.
Yeah.
And they're maybe like 20 or 30 feet in front of you, but the road right now and all the stores have cleared of most people because they're all just following this huge group of people who are traveling farther down the beach the opposite way from you.
Okay. Yeah. So I see the guys, and I sort of like, I stumble over them and go, hey, Robbie, how you doing? Hey, Butch, guys. Oh, holy crap. What the heck happened, guys? There was blinding lightning, and I wake up on a bit. Holy crap, what's going on? What are you guys doing here? What happened, huh?
I'm just sitting there laughing at him. Grab him and Butch and walk him back to the
Where
hotel.
have you been?
Okay, I just go, okay, and I grab the other half of Butch, and
I thought the light evaporated you. You're alive?
oh, I think so. I mean, I got on my beds, I'm talking about it.
Whoa. What do you remember?
Nothing. The blinding light, I grabbed Daniel. Hey, where's Daniel? I grabbed Daniel and the white light with his daughter, Susan, and then the next thing I know was then on the beach looking at wherever the heck that guy is.
Wow. It's completely crazy. Daniel and his daughter are missing. We've been looking for them all.
Oh wait, hang on. How long have I been gone?
You've been gone for, I don't know, a whole day, I guess.
Holy crap. Okay. I need a drink.
Actually, it's into your second day.
Okay. What? So, why are we dragging Butch up the road again?
Because Butch is trying to do a little freelance.
No, I'm
Tell me
not.
something, but he does that anyway.
Yeah, I'm just.
The guy carries around chloroform like he's not right in the head.
Yeah. We need to get you guys back to the others.
Okay. The others, yeah. Let's go. Petey, he'll know what's going on. Yeah, let's go find Petey.
Okay, so you guys start heading back to the house. We'll jump back to the three that are at the house right now. I believe when we left you, you were in the attic looking at the parchment that you had found. If I remember correctly, Tom, your character had Peter had looked to and figured out that it was some type of mix of Greek and Assyrian language, but you couldn't quite figure out it. But you had very quickly found the word Azathoth written and underlined in the notes that are in the side of the parchment.
An ugly word, a disturbing word. The other two suddenly rushed to the window when they saw the flash. So I'm like, what was that?
Well, all three of you, give me a listen roll.
No, 92.
I failed.
I made it.
Okay.
A hard success. Not
Okay,
extreme.
Mason, you can hear from the distance, just the echoing of these people yelling Ramses, or at least that's what it sounds like to you. It's kind of hard to tell from where you're at, and it's very, very distant.
Right, but we keep getting the names of ancient gods. So we've heard about Apollo. Now we've got a Ramses down on the beach, it sounds like, and there's a lot of them. Because that's several blocks away. So if I'm hearing anything intelligible.
Yeah, you had seen the crowd before you guys came back. So yeah, you know that there was definitely a large crowd on the beach.
So you think they're yelling Ramses? Well, Ramses isn't a god unless you count, the fact that the pharaohs believed they were gods.
Right. Didn't a lot of the pharaohs get deified after a while if they weren't unpopular?
Well, that was sort of their thing. They all became gods. But you know what it seems like to me? Whatever delusion these stones are causing, the people just sort of attach themselves to whatever wild and religious beliefs they might have, whether it's Apollo or some other bizarre thing.
Or the Christians that brought us up here,
Right.
or whatever Susan believes in now with her crazy white crowned outfit.
I just think this, whatever it is frying their brains, and
radiation, right?
something like that. Maybe there's something worse. This text really, this is really old. I mean, we've got ancient Greek here, and I can read a little modern Greek, but this is well beyond me. And this is Assyrian, I think.
So actually, Peter, give me an archaeology roll as you say that.
Is that a 16?
All right, so you look at the parchment and something occurs to you. The parchment itself, you've done archaeological digs in the past, so you've done some preliminary dating of artifacts,
Right?
And you would probably date the parchments themselves to be physically 600 or 700 years old. But obviously the language and the writing on there is much, much older than that.
So I would then think that these were copies made by someone 600, 700 years ago.
It's possible.
Medieval copies. So they're not originals, but I hope that whoever made these copies understood the language, because otherwise it could be all sorts of translation errors. I would like very much to continue working on this at least a little bit. Maybe you guys can see what the hell's going on out there. Why are these people cheering? We haven't heard cheering yet. Usually they're just sitting around in circles, staring into the sun.
And I'm curious about where the archaeologists that opened this business and left this document behind have gotten to, because we've seen a lot of folks.
You know, I think I'm going to go downstairs and talk to Rebecca, or upstairs, or across the hall.
Downstairs, I think, drinking
I
wine.
think you guys were in the attic, so that would be downstairs. She's on the second floor.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can repair any damage Butch might have made yesterday with his ridiculous outburst.
Yeah, if we can find Arnold Simpson or Denby Partridge, they might be able to tell us something about.
Well, if Denby and Arnold had a falling out, then I don't know. They seem to have access to an awful lot of artifacts, and this is obviously one of them.
And even if they had a falling out, why would you sell these dangerous and powerful objects at a vacation town for $20 a piece?
I'll tell you what I'm really curious to know is if Rebecca downstairs knows that Arnold's in town. Because what are the chances of him being here at the same time that her and her husband and assistant are in the same town if they had a falling out? Something funny is going on here, but it might be something that Rebecca might be able to shed a little light on.
If we can placate her. But at least Butch isn't here.
If you find Butch, keep him away.
Hey, Pete, I got a couple bottles of some good liquor, not that bathtub stuff. Maybe you could offer a peace treaty with it. Here, I hand you another bottle.
Well, I'll bear that in mind. I think, considering what kind of person I think she might be, I'm going to get a pot of coffee and see if...
Hey, she likes wine.
Yeah, that's true. I'll see what I can do. So my intention at this point is maybe I think my intention is to get a pot of coffee and then quietly go up and knock on her door, but we can find out what they're going to do.
Okay. Yeah, you go down to the kitchen. It's easy to find coffee, and you head up to her room. Mason and Odie, you guys are going to go try to find the others?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay. So you head out. You get about halfway down the street when you see Robert and Butch heading up the street with Oscar with them.
Oscar.
Yeah, I'll hurry down to greet them.
Hey guys, how you doing?
How he's been for the last couple of days.
Hey guys,
All right.
we need to get off the street.
Yeah, I'd tell Odie and Mason basic same thing I told Robert and Butch about what happened and stuff.
So you didn't see Peterson or Susan after?
No, just the last thing I remember is I grabbed Daniel because he was going for Susan, and then there was the white light, and then I wake up on the beach, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? You know what I'm talking about?
We woke up in the same place, but it was only a few hours later, whereas you've been missing since then.
Look, these guys just smoked the sheriff, okay? I think we really need to get off the street.
Let's get into the dining room of the hotel. Nobody will probably be in there. We could sit down and discuss it.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
We're not being followed,
What do you mean smoked?
No, there are people on the street, but most of them, and you actually notice now that the people you see on the street, they seem to be not necessarily moving towards the beach and the nice weather, but a lot of them seem to be moving towards, where you've seen other groups of people. So people seem to be kind of
being attracted to the groups.
Yeah.
I want to check my
So
pocket
no
watch.
one is running and screaming that they just saw the sheriff get smoked, right? No one seems to be upset about this.
No, and in fact, it's quite the opposite. The people who are who saw it seem to be ecstatic that it happened. In fact, you can hear some people kind of running off, almost like a town crier yelling that Ramses is alive. He has shown us his power. Everybody come down to the beach to feel or to see the true God.
Robert, when you say smoked, what do you mean? Did he shoot him?
They turned him into dust.
How
Poof.
did...
He was
How?
there for a minute, and then he wasn't there for a minute.
I
I'm telling
don't
you,
know.
Stone is dangerous.
I don't know. It wasn't a gun.
I don't know what this radiation is you're talking about, but it looks like you could make a weapon out of that.
Hang on just a second. You're telling me that soot stuff they were rubbing on that guy was a person?
Was the sheriff.
Yeah.
Ah, ugh.
Constitutional.
Definitely. It's a pass.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think...
Odie, you got that hip flask on you?
Yeah, always.
And I just
There you
down
go.
like half of
this
his
is
hip
what
flask.
we have to do. We have to go steal all the rocks, put them in our car, and drive away.
I ain't going anywhere near those rocks.
Yeah, I think we might get baked by radiation if we put all those things in a car at the same time. Who knows if they even interact with each other?
When it comes to stealing, I'm your man, but I ain't stealing no rocks.
Now, are we sitting in the dining room area? Or
Yeah,
we're still-
by this point, you've gotten into the dining room. You're the only ones there. Every once in a while, from where the dining room is, excuse me, from where the dining room is, you can see out kind of the side. There's a window there that you can see the path out back towards the spa, and every once in a while you see 2 or 3 people kind of wander back there. You don't see anybody coming out, just people going back into the woods towards the spa. But other than that, you are alone on the first floor.
All right, guys, set up some coffee cups. I'm going to run to the room. I'll be right back.
I picked a bad day to quit cocaine.
So I come back down with a bottle under my jacket, and I pour, half 2 or 3 fingers in each of the coffee mugs and top it off with some coffee.
Have we run into the pastor or any of the congregants from Evergreen in the mix? Does it seem like people are changing?
Not that you can tell.
From one group to another? Yeah.
You know what? Give me Robert, Butch, and Oscar. Give me spot hidden rolls.
It's my spot here. Okay.
I just got a regular pop.
I rolled 100. No, I didn't spot nothing.
You spill your coffee.
Butch, you're on mute.
I got a hard success.
Okay, so Oscar and Butch, you do remember that you think that when you're down on the beach with all the people there may have been 1 or 2 people that you thought was from the group that had the pastor down by Sunshine Cottages when you first came in, but there's so many people there, it's hard to tell. You just saw 1 or 2 familiar faces.
Right.
So
Guys,
Mason, to answer your question, maybe it's hard to tell.
I'm wondering if, it seemed like Celia and Apollo don't have that many worshipers. The pastor had a lot, and Ramses on the beach is getting really big. I'm wondering if it's going to turn into one super cult as these people keep losing their marbles.
Well, Susan had a couple of people too, though. Don't forget, and she'd come from the Christian group. She'd come from there. So it sounds to me like, and like I just said, I think I saw a couple of the congregation from Evergreen down there on the beach. So it looks like they if they're near one of these people with these stones, they join that group. So I don't know if it become a big group. They just whoever they're near, that's who they start worshiping. But I don't like it here. Where's Petey? Where's Petey? Odie, where's Petey?
He's upstairs going over some old papers Mason and I found. Some real old papers.
We also found out that there might be 35 of these stones somewhere in this town.
35 stones?
35 stones.
It looks
Okay.
that way.
We need to find them. We need to find each and every single one of those stones.
And we need to keep your hands off them.
Shut up about finding the
Yeah.
stone.
Fine, fair enough.
With that, let's jump over to Peter. So Peter, once Mason and Odie left, you walked down to the second floor.
Mhm.
standing in front of Rebecca's room, you could hear that she was in there. You could hear the shuffling of papers and things like that.
So I've got a pot of coffee and a couple of cups, and I knock on her door lightly.
At first, there's nothing, and then you hear a voice from the other side. Hello, who is it? I don't need any fresh sheets.
Miss Newman, it's Peter Gilman. I was hoping I could make up for what happened yesterday.
She says, "Well, what do you want?"
I'd just like to talk for a bit.
Well, I'm very busy. Is this something that can wait?
Well, I brought some coffee. Maybe you could use a refill.
Give me a charm or a fast talk roll, whichever is higher for you.
75. No.
She says, thank you. I've got some in here. I'm just, very, very busy.
Well, I don't want to bother you. I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about Arnold Simpson.
With that, you hear the chair on the inside kind of scoot, and she walks to the door and kind of unlocks it and opens it just a little bit, and she's kind of like half hidden behind the door, and she says, "Arnold Simpson, how do you know him?"
Coffee?
She says, "No, thank you. I'm good." You can definitely tell she's trying to keep you on that side of the door.
Arnold and your husband were partners, were they not?
My ex-husband.
Your ex-husband. They were partners, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
They had a nasty falling out last year. I don't really know the details, but you said yesterday you're waiting for your husband. He should be here at some point.
Yes, he'll probably be here tomorrow.
Ex-husband. Were you aware that Arnold Simpson was in town?
No, I wasn't. Give me a psychology roll.
Ooh, 16. That's another 16.
You can tell she's lying. She's obviously, she's got like really big bags under her eyes, okay. So she doesn't lie very convincingly. But she says, "No, I didn't know he was here." Well, are you holding do you just have the coffee with you?
Yeah, I don't have the scroll.
Okay.
Not ready to reveal that I have such a thing. I say, well, we seem to think that he is responsible for these odd stones, these egg-shaped stones that are running around town. Our friend Butch, the one who accosted you last night,
I remember him.
He seems to be heavily under the influence of one of these stones. There is a very bizarre phenomena going around this town where people are establishing some sort of religions around these stones, and it seems to be spreading through the entire town.
Well, I've seen that too, but that's why I've been staying in my room trying to work. I mean,
well, it's probably a good idea because it seems to be getting worse. There's a lot of very strange and odd behavior going on, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. We came here because we had a friend, and our friend's daughter seems to have joined one of these cults, and we were trying to extract her and bring her back to Massachusetts. Massachusetts? Is that where we started? Yeah. Unfortunately, we've lost track of both of them, and now Butch seems to be under the influence, and we're just trying to avoid it. And then we find out that this colleague of your ex-husband's, Arnold Simpson, seems to be the one who's distributed these stones. Does that mean anything to you?
No, I mean, surely you don't believe that rocks can control people's minds. I mean, that's, you know.
I think that my base theory is that it's emitting some sort of a radiation that may be damaging people's minds.
Well, I can see that you're, you know, of a more scientific mind. So let me just tell you that, you know, I have seen these stones. I don't have one, but you know, I've seen what you're talking about, how it's affecting people, and again, that's why I'm staying in my room. No, beside the fact that I have all this work to get done, but
You're translating scrolls
yes,
from what languages? Greek, Syriac, Assyrian.
Multiple languages. She looks at you. She pauses a little bit when she says that because you can tell that it seems a little odd to her that you would pick those languages and say. But she continues and says, but you know, I think you're right. I think that the stones probably have some, you know, maybe property like that, a magnetic property or radiation that's causing people, and it's just, you know, it's ballooning, it's mass hysteria or mass delusion. You know, there have been many recorded cases like this.
Yeah, I agree.
And
well,
I hope you find your friend and your friend's daughter, but if you'll excuse me, I really do have to get back to my work.
all right. I'm sorry for bothering you. Maybe this evening we can have another chat. You like wine? We can sit out in the back. You're going to have to take a break at some point.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be honest with you. It's really coming down to the wire for me here, so I'm, you know, not going to be socializing as much. And to be quite frank, you know, I don't trust, you know, the other people you're with.
I understand. I want to do a psychology roll on her.
Mm-hmm.
I am suddenly suspecting that maybe this breakup in friendship between her ex-husband and Arnold might have to do, and the fact that she's an ex, might have to do that she and Arnold have something to do with one another. Maybe they're having an affair. Well, It's not an affair if she's not married. But if she's translating scrolls, and I've got one of those scrolls upstairs, I suddenly don't trust her at all. I think that she might have far more knowledge here and she might be a dangerous individual. So that's what I'm trying for when I roll.
All right, go ahead.
And I got 54 out of... Oh, I've got nothing for psychology. Damn it.
Well, I mean, she's just the exhaustion in her eyes, you know, is betraying a lot. And, you know, she may not mean to be betraying as much emotion as she is, but she knows more than what she's saying. Beyond that, you can't tell what it's about. When you talked about Arnold, she obviously was lying that she didn't know that he was in town, but you didn't get any feelings like she had, or get an impression that she had any feelings for him either way,
all right,
or like that.
So I'm going to say, well, I won't bother you anymore. Please, you know, if you need my assistance, I might be able to help you in at least a little bit of that translation if you need any help. And I'll leave you to it then.
All right, thank you.
And as she's closing the door, under my breath, maybe a little too loudly, I'm going to say, as a thought. And see if she has any reaction.
She kind of gets the door to right about where it's going to close, and stops, and then opens it up and says, "I'm sorry, did
I'm
you say
turning
something?"
Oh, no, nothing.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Good night.
Shuts the door.
Hmm.
So with this,
I'm taking now the coffee back to the kitchen, so
okay.
I'll see them.
So you start coming downstairs. everybody is in the dining room, just kind of sitting around talking. And
Oscar. Hey, Oscar.
Hey, Petey, how you doing? I just go up and give him a big hug.
How you doing?
Hey, Petey, you're just the guy I'm looking for. Okay, and I tell him everything that went down. I'm like, so what do you think? You're the smartest guy I know. What do you think happened, huh? What's going on?
So now I relate to them basically what I just said. I said, I have a very strong suspicion that Rebecca may be tied into this somehow.
I thought she seemed really nice.
She does seem really nice. And I think that she may be involved only because she's translating. But
right. But also, she's keeping herself sequestered. She's still pale. Yeah, maybe she does have a hand in all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's at this point that I say, okay, guys, someone needs to fill me in on what exactly happened since I've been gone. What's gone on? What's happened?
So we go over everything with Oscar.
Celia, Bush in the bushes.
Yeah.
And also, Pete, you have to know that the explosion we heard was Ramses, son of Ra, using one of the stones not just to make people pass out or feel warm, but to turn into a pile of dust. And apparently Ramses' followers, including Oscar, oh, sorry, not quite including Oscar, rubbed the dust of the dead sheriff onto their living god. So the situation has gone from holding hands in a circle to murdering outsiders
and kidnapping me.
I've got
Daniel.
I actually have 5 points in Cthulhu Mythos. Can I take the chance and roll to see if the word Azathoth actually clicks?
Sure.
Azathoth?
No.
So what's Azathoth?
I think that's my cousin.
The scrolls upstairs are a mixture of what looks like ancient Greek and Syriac and Abyssinian and all these other languages, but
didn't they write on stones?
Well, yeah, it's not cuneiform. It's a later thing. I would say that the physical scroll itself is only a few hundred years old. So it's a copy, but the characters are definitely ancient, a few centuries BC at least.
Like Apollo and Ramses.
Well,
but not Jesus.
Like even earlier stuff than that. But I ran across a word that, I don't know, for some reason it seems odd. See, in Greek, well, the Egyptian gods, most of the names that we have for the Egyptian gods are actually the Greek names for the Egyptian gods. And Thoth is the god of wisdom and knowledge. And usually when you put an A in front of a word, it means the opposite. So I'm not sure what the za is, but Azathoth might mean the absence of knowledge or the absence of reason. I think
there's a lot of absence of reason in town.
The absence of wisdom, you're just talking about Butch.
Butch is okay. He's just...
Za probably means Za.
I rest my case.
Probably the only reason why you two haven't started worshiping some sun god is because you guys don't believe in God anyway. So
yeah, no, the stuff I saw in Queens, if there was a God, trust me.
Is that something, Mason? Are these all sun gods?
Ra is, right? Apollo is. I don't know anything about... We thought that the Susan's cult looked Japanese, but I don't know anything from Japanese gods.
Yeah. I'm wondering...
I don't know about the pastor. Is Jesus a sun god?
The son of God.
Well, yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Oh,
he's usually associated with light and brightness, and it's I only saw it for a brief moment, and there was definitely a feeling of like staring into the sun, except that it wasn't painful. It was warm and it was delightful.
Great.
But you understand better than anybody.
It was the best thing that ever happened to my life.
But
Everyone needs to try it. 10
it's
out
a
of 10.
trap. There are lots of things in this world that make you feel really, really wonderful, but they destroy you at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
And quite honestly, if this word, this name, and it's a name because it's the equivalent of being capitalized, if this equates to insanity, that's definitely what we're seeing in this town is a form of insanity. Everybody's kind of nuts here.
Yeah, they're not taking care of themselves. And they are attracted to this, like, in a way that is not rational or even emotionally sound. It's automatic.
And you're saying that they're killing people now and cheering about it.
At least the leaders are, or can. I mean, we don't know what these things can do. And there might be 35 of them in this valley.
What if this is some sort of like evolution thing, survival of the fittest? Make 35 different groups and have them battle it out until one of them wins.
Well, that's why I'm worried about.
Works for me.
I'm worried about whether or not. I mean, first of all, maybe we want the cult of Apollo to fight the cult of Ramses if we want to get out of town and back to winter in one piece. But also, you know, has Susan been absorbed into one of the other groups? Because if she and Oscar disappeared at the same time, and Oscar woke up on the beach, I mean, obviously, Oscar, if you'd seen Susan there and she was recognizable.
Oscar, do you remember anything after the flash?
You know what, Oscar? Give me a idea roll.
Okay.
Daniel, too, could have been absorbed by now.
I got a 48 out of 70, so it's a pass, but just a regular.
And then give me a power roll as well.
Oh, I got a 6. Yeah, that's a extreme pass.
So you remember, you start thinking, and you start remembering like bits and pieces. You remember the flash, and then you remember the flash of light from Susan. Then you remember, you know, stumbling along the road and somehow ending up at the beach and just holding hands with everybody in this large circle. And these images start, you know, coming in and out of your mind. And then you kind of get this flash of this other, this other almost like vision in your mind, where you see that it's almost like you're looking at the Earth from space, and it's like you can just kind of, you know how what it's like when you can kind of like half remember a dream. This is what it feels like. It's almost like you're floating in space, and then you start to go farther and farther away from the Earth until it becomes a very small dot. And you look around and you see that you're going closer and closer to this, what you can best consider a star. But the closer you get to the star, you hear this almost insane music being played, and it gets closer and closer, and then, you know, you just kind of snap out of it, and you don't know what it was, but you remember just feeling that very vividly.
Butch,
you can make a sanity check for that too if you like.
Butch,
Yeah, I'm definitely doing a sanity check for that.
Kind of spaced out there for a second.
I got a 45, but I'm going to take 1 point for that.
Okay, that works.
Because yeah. So
well,
I kind of
you got. Let me say too that when you were flying close to this almost like sun type thing, it was very weird. You had a mixture of a feeling of elation and dread.
Okay, so I come back to it, and I'm just okay, and I down my drink that Odie had poured out, and I take a few more breaths, and then I just reach over and grab Butch's drink and down that one, and take a few minutes, and then I grab Robert's drink and down that one as well. And I go, guys, I don't know what's going on with me, but okay, I remember stumbling around on the street after the flash of light. I don't know where Daniel was, but I was stumbling around, and then I was on the beach, and there was people holding my hands, and then I was like flying or something, and I was up in space, and I was going towards this thing. It was like a sun or something. I don't know, but I could hear this music, and it's just like you just described, Petey. It's like you just said. It was good, but it was bad. I knew it was bad. I know I didn't want to be there, but I had to keep going towards it. Oh God, I don't know what's going on, guys. I just want to get out of here. Like I don't know where Daniel is, but we need to get out of here, okay?
People, I think we need to remember our old plan. We still need to make this a search and rescue operation. I say we run around town as fast and as efficiently as we can, grab Daniel and his daughter if we can, kidnap both of them, put them on a truck and drive away. How about we save and rescue ourselves, huh?
Well,
Let's think about us for a second, huh?
I think we have to be like.
Yeah, I still think we can go to the Lady of Loretto. We've never seen that place before. I think she could be there.
Well, I'm thinking I'm with Butch only because we don't abandon our friends, but I do think that we need to use at least a little stealth here. We need to avoid big crowds. We need to hang around the back sides of buildings and sneak from place to place, at least until we see the crowd that Daniel and Susan are in.
And I gesture for everyone to kind of lean in. And I say, everyone knows that we're staying at this hotel. I think we need to get off the beaten trail. We need to go shack up somewhere. I don't know where we are.
I don't think you have anything to worry about, because it seems that the people that are attracted to these groups are mesmerized in that group, and as long as you don't interfere with them. I mean, we watched them smoke the sheriff, and none of them chased us. None of them came after us. Every group we've encountered, they've stood there tranced or drugged or whatever, and not even known we were there until we asserted ourselves.
Yeah, but the thing, from what you guys just described to me, what happened to you guys, Mr. Butch Sawyer over here, every time he gets near one, he goes all loopy-doopy and starts to grab stuff.
Oh, I can take care of Butch.
They're going to know that we're there pretty soon if we take Butch around with us to go near these stones. I'm just saying.
I think we can both go ahead.
I think they're like ripples in a pond. Each of those stones has caused a ripple, and those ripples are creating circles around them. But eventually those circles are going to start to hit one another. And I think that we just happen to be here at the beginning of this process. But from what you were saying with the Ramses fellow, I think we're getting to the point where these circles are going to start to hit one another. Mm-hmm. They'll either absorb one another or they'll try to destroy one another. And I don't want to be caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, I don't think that they're interested in us. I think that they are also mesmerized by their own cults, whether they're their leader or not, that we're not relevant until we interact with them. That doesn't mean that we want to be conspicuous. I'm also, I don't know, do you think that Susan absorbed Daniel into her cult? Or do you think she cast him out somewhere and he's following somebody else blindly?
I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing happened to him that happened to me.
He's just in a day. If Susan still has one of the stones, then I don't think we're going to be able to take her out. We'll be saving Daniel.
Oh, yeah. And like this, I don't think we're going to be able to do a smash and grab either. I don't think we're going to be able to grab her and get out. She's not going to want to go. With the stone, she'll just us, and that's it. Game over.
Yeah, and if the situation is getting worse, I mean, keep in mind this has been going on since November, as far as we know. Gradually,
I agree. If we see anybody with one of those stones, we go the other way.
Yeah. I do not want to be blasted with some sort of radioactive beam of destruction.
We can just run through the forest and never hit the street. I mean, there's enough overgrowth here for us to walk around a different path and never, see civilization. But right
People seem
now,
to be all down by the
we
wall.
jump off the walls from the side of the building, and we never have to even go through a broad walk.
Right, but we're looking for people, so we have to be around people to find the people that are missing.
I'm hoping that if we just stay to the back sides of buildings, we can peek around and see if we can see groups of people and maybe survey them from a distance, and then only approach if we see Susan and Daniel.
Oscar, you don't remember anything about eating at all, right?
Nope.
No, nothing like that. No, just
I wonder
No.
if the people even need to eat when they're in their little, circles.
I don't know. One of you said a moment ago that they all know where we live now or where we're staying.
yeah, that was me. Yeah,
Maybe that's true. Maybe we need to relocate.
yeah.
I don't know where else we can relocate in this town. But
Well, what about that place you guys said you broke into somewhere? Can we keep up there for a few days?
There's an empty apartment, as far as we know.
we don't know if
And
that
if we-
Arnold fellow is coming back.
But if we stayed there, we might be able to, he might find us. But there's more of us than there are him.
You know,
And
also
like if he rocks up, me and Robbie will take care of him. Don't you worry.
it's also possible that we, there's woods about up above. I need glasses, better glasses to read this map. It's nice and warm out. There's no reason why we couldn't sneak out into the woods and just stay there to be safe, and then just come into town to go on, scouting missions to see if we can find our guy.
I wouldn't mind going someplace a little cooler.
I'm starting to feel a little nervous about.
Yeah. Maybe the tan makes you touched.
We could also.
I mean, Rebecca.
We could also go back to the cabins. Break into a cabin. We know that the occupants are out for the day. So when they come back in at night, they're going to be tired. We can take one of them and interrogate them.
If they even come back at night.
I'm not exactly sure what you're going to interrogate them about.
Yeah, I mean, Oscar has been embedded with Ramses, son of Ra, for at least a day, and he doesn't know anything. Nothing personal, Oscar.
Yeah, none taken.
We haven't looked at the church.
Right. Butch mentioned the church. Let's check that out. Maybe it's got a different cult. They'll tell us something more about what these cults are.
Let's do two things at once. Let's keep our eyes out for our friends, and let's continue looking at some of these other places in town and avoiding the crowds. I think the crowds all seem to go down towards the beach. I wonder if there's a connection with the water. Is this a freshwater lake?
Yes.
Is it a small enough lake to see the other side of?
Yeah. It's maybe a quarter mile wide, half mile wide.
It's a valley. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Is the other side white with snow?
No, it's all
Still
warm.
bathed in, okay.
So really, the center of the warmth might be the lake itself, too. Could a volcanic be heating this whole area up?
Well, you do remember that the sun itself is
Blazing.
Blazing hot.
Yeah, although water will hold a lot of heat, so.
It'll moderate the, yeah. Well, let's do that.
Everybody coffeeed and liquored up enough to go and check out the church?
Yeah, sounds
I
good.
just need to use the restroom for a second. I'll be back. I say that and I excuse myself.
I also follow him.
Yeah. I'm following him.
Yeah.
Is anybody going to grab anything before you go?
Butch. And Butch is heading for the restroom, so he's going to be grabbing something too. I'm not sure if we're going to take anything with us, but I wanted to say one last thing too. Is I'm wondering if there's now a connection. It could be the other way around too. It could be a connection between Arnold and the ex, Denvy Partridge. Maybe they never did break up. Maybe it's maybe their partnership continues.
Well, there is one way we can find out. Is this Rebecca, was it?
Yeah.
She's never seen me. So I could rock up and say I'm that I was sent by Arnold or whatever it was.
That's risky.
What? Maybe you'd say he was apologizing for being late. We might find out what her real story is, depending on the replies.
But if that was all lies told to me, then she's going to know instantaneously that you're lying.
I think it's at this point we should take the risk. I mean, things are getting pretty dicey outside.
Are you eavesdropping from the men's room?
No,
All right, so
No, we're all in the men's room.
well, we'll say that, guys,
We all followed Butch.
you grab what you're gonna grab, and then you start
I
to head
went.
out.
In the meantime, I went back to the room and then I changed my clothes from the shirt I was wearing to a bit dark green color, so I think it'll help me camouflage better.
Okay.
So, and I wore some combat boots and pants. So,
If we don't trust, do we want to take all our stuff with us now?
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, no, I'm grabbing all my kit and throwing it in the car.
Yeah.
Hey, you might want to hold on to them old-timey papers, man. I don't trust that dame. One, because she's a dame, and two, she's an educated woman. You know, she should be cooking and cleaning in the kitchen. She's out
You
there.
see, me and Odie are on the same page. Me and Odie are on the same page.
That's Odie, not me.
This is the 1920s. We're not
exactly.
We're not living in the 1800s.
Yeah.
All right, so it sounds like you guys are grabbing everything.
And we left a lot of our warm weather gear in the car. Cars.
Yeah.
So we just have
that in.
smaller sacks we can carry. Good.
Because we've got 2 cars, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see if we can find a hiding place out there in the woods if we need to.
But you're going to the church first, correct?
Right. Yeah.
All right. So you well, fortunately for you, the church is literally on the other side of the woods from where you're at, from where the hotel is. So instead of wandering through the streets, you could go through the woods if you wanted to. And when I say go through the woods, I mean I don't mean going through by the warm springs,
right?
Kind of like to the side of that. So you get to the church. It's a Catholic church. What you would expect it to look like, with steeple, the stained glass windows, large door in the front. The one thing you do notice is that there is a fairly large hole in the roof.
Oh.
As you go into the front doors, you can see just the pews lining the crucifix at the very front next to the altar, and sitting there in the pews are maybe about 8 or 9 people plus a priest, and they're all just kind of sitting there next to each other and praying.
Now, you said a hole in the roof. Do we see it from the outside or once we walked in?
You could see it when you were coming up, and you can definitely see it when you walk in. Everybody give me spot hidden rolls.
As if something came through the roof?
Right. That was my next question. Out or in? 26.
26. I got 22.
14.
Oh, cousin.
So for those who made it, you can you absolutely see in one corner of the church on the floor just a bunch of debris from the roof, and not only that, you can see some ladders along the side as well as some saws and hammers.
Okay, so they've done it.
Okay, so there's ladder, saws, and hammers, but the hole in the roof, does it look like they're rebuilding the church, or does it look like an accident happened and they're fixing the church? In other words, is the hole like jagged and messed up, or is it clean?
It's not clean, but it's not jagged or anything like that. So let me put it this way: it doesn't look like anything fell through it. It looks like they made it and
They ripped it down. Yeah,
there's sun shining through that hole.
Yes,
Exactly.
the sun is shining right through the hole.
On the priest.
Well, actually, right onto the crucifix of Jesus that's in the front.
And
Does
is
the
there any
priest
part
look-
of the crucifix that's glowing or highly reflective?
No more than you would expect it to be normally.
Does the priest look like he's clutching one of the stones?
It does. He does.
Damn. I would have thought surely not.
Let's.
And we don't recognize anyone here. Daniel's not here. Susan's not here.
No.
And they're praying. You said, are they touching one another?
Yeah, they're kind of sitting in the pews, and like one person will have like their hand on the shoulder of the person to the next to them, and the person, between the pews, like one person has his hand on the shoulder of the person in front of him. So yeah, they're all connected in some way.
Oscar, keep Butch away.
How many people?
No more than 8. It's a very small group, much smaller than you've seen elsewhere.
But-
Guys, if they act like the other groups, we could just walk around the church and investigate. They probably wouldn't even look up at us, as long as we don't go within a couple feet or interrupt
The
them.
thing about investigating is we already know the one thing we came to find out.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and
would
once
have thought
they've got
surely they
Susan-
would have been outside in the sun if they were worshiping that. Do they have tans?
Yes, they do.
Shit. I'm lost. I have no idea what to do now.
They just found a way to modify the thing.
the
to
religion to the right.
Yeah.
I want to try a little experiment, but I'm going to go up and I'm going to say something to the priest and run like hell if he reacts the way I think that
Yeah,
he might.
this could be dangerous, Peter. We just saw the sheriff get taken out by
I know.
approaching.
The thing I love is he hasn't warned us he's doing this at all. He's just...
No, I am. I'm warning you. I'm
Okay.
going to go say something to him. I want you guys to stay back here and...
All right, Oscar, I'm going to let you handle the ashes.
I loudly say, were you going to say Azathoth?
No. I want to see if challenging their religious beliefs causes a violent reaction.
Okay.
I pull out my blackjack and I'm ready to thock Butch in the back of the head if he does anything.
You guys stay over here by the doors.
I have my switchblade on my hand in case they go after me.
Yeah, we've got wide doors that are easy to get out of. And these people seem very lethargic during worship.
Yeah, but nobody messes with Pete. That's my cousin.
And this is, I guess, based mostly on James's faith in the Catholic Church. Talk amongst yourselves for just a moment.
Okay.
Let's
Butch, I swear to God, if you do anything, I'm putting a dent in the back of your skull so big you won't see right for days.
So while you guys are standing there, it's definitely cooler in the church with you being in some shade, but there's really no wind, so it's very kind of stifling, and you could almost swear that it's even hotter than it was from this morning. Odie, you look at your watch, and it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. The sun should be dipping down, but
Right.
where the sun is and where the light is coming into the church, it's you would guess that it was like noon.
All right. So I'm going to go up to the priest.
Okay, you walk
And
up there.
Are their eyes are all closed, I imagine.
Yeah, they are, but when you get up there, the priest kind of opens his eyes and looks at you and smiles and says, "Can I help you, my son?" Have
Father.
you come here to worship?
Father, there's
Yes.
something you have forgotten. It's very important.
Oh?
2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. The devil can appear as an angel of light. Don't be deceived by this nonsense.
He
I'm
smiles and
waiting
says,
for him to...
he looks at you and says, I don't understand. What do you mean?
And I point at the stone.
He kind of looks at the stone and then looks at you and says, "Oh, no, you misunderstand. The stone allows us to speak with the Lord."
No, you misunderstand. You're being tricked. You're being deceived.
No, just as Moses was able to communicate with God through on Mount Ararat through the Ten Commandments, the stone tablets, we are able to communicate with God. This is almost like this is our stone tablet. And he starts to reach out his hand to you to put it on your shoulder.
I stay away.
Please.
Nope, sorry. There are 35 of those stones around the town, and people are worshiping every god you can imagine. I say they all believe that it's God. It's the devil. It's a trick.
He says, they will find the truth, my son. Trust me. Please come and worship with us.
Sorry, I'm a Unitarian, and I turn around and I run to the the others. I say, let's get the fuck out of here.
With that, he stands up and he looks at all of you in the back. And this whole time, he has one hand on the stone and one hand on, like the next parishioner. Sorry, let me rephrase that. He has one hand on the stone, and one of the parishioners always has, one hand on him. In fact, he stands up and starts to move, and it's almost like the person who's holding him, who's touching him directly, starts to feel him go farther away and stands up and starts moving, and almost in unison, everybody stands up and starts to move so that they can continue to be, touching him as he moves, and he starts to move towards the aisle and says, "No, please come and worship with us."
Run like hell, everybody.
Wait a minute. What if we broke his connection?
I'm not going anywhere near him. This thing is, they're moving in concert like they're a single animal at this point.
And he starts moving down the aisle, and at this point, it's almost like there's a line of people behind him. If in any other circumstance, you would almost find this humorous, as it was like some mockery of a Congo line, but he's slowly moving down towards you.
Into the hills.
Grab Butch, it's time to go.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. I'm not moving anywhere near as slowly as that guy is. I'm getting the hell out.
I make a mad dash towards the stone, and I try to knock it off his.
Oh no! As soon as he moved, I brought down my blackjack. So
we have to try. You have to try and grapple him.
So what do I?
Just a small sprint leap and a knock and a run away. That's what I want to do.
Okay, so what do I have to roll to see if I clip him in the back of the head?
Brawl.
Why are you hitting your friend? I'm trying to knock the.
Give me a fighting brawl roll, and then Butch, give me a dodge roll.
Okay.
Oh, I got a 2.
Oh.
I got a hard success for the dexterity.
All right, so Oscar got a better success. So he, Oscar, were you just trying to,
I'm trying to knock him out.
Oh, okay.
I've got my blackjack in my hand, and I'm thocking him in the back of the head.
Go ahead and
as
roll.
Soon as he moves.
Go ahead and roll whatever the damage is.
That causes brain damage in real life. What you see in movies doesn't really happen in real life. It's like,
Butch has got plenty of brain damage anyway. He can take it.
Now we're gonna have to carry him out.
Okay, so it's a 1d8 plus damage bonus. So I got a 4 plus. Well, it's a 5.
No.
5.
So Butch, you take 5 points of damage as
5.
He hits you, and you don't fall unconscious, but you stumble to the ground. You weren't expecting that. Oscar, give me a power roll though.
Okay. 20.
All right. So you, what's your power?
60.
Oh, okay, so that's at least a hard success.
That's a hard. Yeah.
As soon as Butch goes down, you can see the priest at the end of the island. The priest is maybe like 20 feet away from you at this point. You see him holding the stone, and you get that longing for that split second to go and grab the stone yourself.
Yeah.
You can see it shining in the light, shining brighter than anything else in the room. But you're able to kind of pull yourself back in.
Yeah.
But go ahead and lose a sanity point for that.
Sweet. So as soon as I've hit him and had that whole interaction, I go I kind of shake it off and I go, "Hey, Robbie, grab him, let's get out of here."
you hit him, you drag his ass.
Okay,
I grab him.
Butch, Butch, give me a sanity roll as well.
I fail.
To take a D4 insanity, because they get you out of the church. The sun hits you, and that kind of almost placates you a little bit. But they still pulled you away from one of those stones, and that really affects you. But you all end up. We'll say that you're on the street. You kind of stumble onto the street in front of the church.
I want to go uphill.
So uphill would be going up Main Street. You can start heading that way if you want. That's the direction you want to go.
Does it seem crowded?
So you look up Main Street and you can see it's kind of hard to tell. You can see where City Hall is, where the town hall is, up about a block ahead or so, and beyond that is a park. You can see that there may be some crowd there. You see kind of some people in the street. Let me put it that way.
Well, I guess
but in fairness, looking back the other way towards the boardwalk, you see people as well.
Right. So,
can we
factual question. So far, Oscar, Robert, and Butch have all been part of the circle. Mason and Odie have not been part of the circle, and Peter.
I touched it, but I didn't. I got out.
You felt the warmth. So it's only Odie and Mason that never felt the warmth.
No, I never have. I did not touch the stone. I did not touch
or a circle. You didn't.
You did touch
the circle. Yeah,
one of the circles.
Right. Very beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't remember touching a stone or anything like that, or feeling the warmth necessarily.
Keeping track.
Yeah. I pull Peter aside and Odie, and I just say to them, I kind of go, guys, when we were in there, and after I hit Butch in the head, I wanted to go after the stone. It was like a split second thing, man. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I can't be around these things.
Listen to your voice.
Oscar, did you feel better when we got out of the church and into the sunlight?
I felt I shook it off. I shook it off straight away. But yeah, I'm literally just saying this to Peter and Odie, like off to the side, because I know them a bit better than the other guys and stuff.
I think Rebecca knows something. She's locked up in her room in the dark.
Do you want me to try do what we're talking about? Me pretending to be an associate of
no,
of Andrew?
I think that we're getting something though. It's the sunlight too. We need to get into the woods where we're in the shade, out of the direct sunlight.
Yeah. Everybody, can we synchronize our watches?
Yeah, because
we did that last time, yesterday also.
I don't think that we're going to encounter many people in the woods.
No.
I think we're going to be in the sun and the beach.
That dame stays in her room all day, and she was out at night on the porch. So yeah.
I reckon we should think about doing it this a little bit different. I reckon we should do all our investigation at night when they don't have all these powers and stuff, and we try and get some rest and sleep during the day. That's the plan.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I bet these stones won't do anything when it's a half moon.
Yeah, well, I'm going to feel a lot safer about that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Great
I'm
idea.
also interested in the city hall and whether its roof is still intact. And I'm wondering if this dinky little town has a library.
Actually, I got one more question.
Yeah.
If we just went in there, right, and these people are praising Jesus and stuff like that, then who the hell are the people up in the courtyard, like the congregation of Evergreen? Who are they?
A different Jesus.
But because that's what I'm saying. If they'd come together if they were, praising the same dude. So do we know for sure that up there they're praising Jesus? Do we know that? We never
Well,
had
the
it.
problem with it is one's Catholic and one's Protestant.
They're praising their own version of God. All of them.
Right.
I can tell you that if we met Jews here, they would be praising their version. Muslims, theirs. We haven't seen
on different sides of town.
We haven't seen Zoroastrianism or any of those, but I'm sure there's somebody here. I say we need to get out of the sunlight where there's no people, and I bet you dollars to donuts that in the shade of the forest there's no people because they want to be out in the sun.
So Mason, when you had wondering out loud if there was a library, you look up the main street from where you're at, and you can see almost directly across the street from you is the Ray of Light Gallery, but the building next to that, up north of you, right on the intersection of where the street you're on and the next street, you see this almost like, you would almost call it a shed, like a large shed, but there's a little sign out next to it that says library.
Anybody interested in looking into the library and seeing anything about the town's history, etc.? It's probably going to be dark in there too.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I'd say all these things are a good idea in the dark, but
wait, we could do the studying in here, and we could wait till nightfall. Then we can move out.
That's true.
Let's go. Let's go to the library. My guess is that there's nobody in there.
Yeah, me too.
We get whatever books we want, and we just bring them up here into the woods.
There might be something that can help you with your research project too.
The translation. I did bring that with me, by the way.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know how many books in a library this size you're going to find on ancient Greek and Assyrian.
Well, dictionaries are the kind of things, especially early in the 20th century. Like, you're going to see a lot of Greek lexicons in a library.
Maybe.
Because you've still got classical education stuff. Now, I wouldn't expect it.
Okay. So
The library ho.
So you head over to the library.
And we can check Butch's head out.
Yeah. So when you get there, and right before you go in, you can see across the street from the library. Well, actually, right next to the library on the same side of the street, you see another house, and it has a sign that says DDS out in front of it. But across the street from that is the town hall. And right beyond the town hall is this very large park. And you can just see, tons of people in the park, all in, like one big group. The town hall itself, it's a very large, nice building built of brick. It has steps that go up to the front, and right in the apex of the roof on the front of the town hall is a clock. If you can kind of imagine the town hall from Back to the Future. Sure. With the clock right there, that's what it looks like, only this clock actually works. You go in addition to that, you can kind of see behind where the doctor's office and the library is, kind of in like one of the backyards. You see three guys there, and they're all kind of gathered around this very large wooden box, and it almost looks like they're trying to put wheels on it, but it doesn't. They're obviously not. It's not working for them.
Can we sort of sneak up and not say anything or make any noise, but peek around the corner and see from a closer point of view what they're doing?
Sure. You go ahead and do that. Whoever's doing that, give me a listen roll.
Okay.
Listen.
Yes. 15.
Oh, I got it. I'm 11.
That's actually
11.
Well, I made it normal.
You for those who made it, you can kind of, they don't seem to be, if they do notice, they're not paying attention to you, but you can hear them. One person in particular, he's kind of like barking orders at the other two to attach the wheels to the chariots and put it on. We must hurry! Titan is waiting for us to go and show his glory. And the other two men are trying to do this, and they are just failing miserably. I won't even make you do a spot hidden roll. Those who are looking, you can see the guy who's barking orders is definitely holding one of those stones.
Oh.
And should I do an idea roll to see if I know about Titan?
Hey,
You know what? I won't even make you do that because, the guy will say Titan. And another one of the gentlemen says something about Hyperion or Helois, and these are all you know that these are all basically the same names for Greek gods.
Right.
hey,
Involved with the sun.
Yes.
there are 3 of these guys. The group of us could easily take them, giving us A, access to a stone, B, taking down one of the groups that we're going to end up facing eventually.
But say I grab a stone in the struggle, and I believe in some crazy part of my brain.
That's for touching the stone, but are the stones attached to chains?
No.
Could we not put a sock on our hand and grab the stone with the sock so that we're not physically in contact with it?
But everyone, because if someone's holding the stone and then someone else is holding that person, they're still being affected, and they're holding them on their clothes. Doesn't matter about clothing and stuff. Whatever these stones are, there's something else to them. I didn't touch the stone.
Stones.
I didn't touch the stone.
If we knock him out, we could scrape the stone into a bucket or something.
I don't want the stone anywhere near me. I don't want the stone anywhere near me.
Yeah, I want to smash him maybe with a hammer.
Is anybody watching Butch? Is Butch like trying to get to the stone?
Well, Butch is still bleeding from the scalp at this point.
I tell you what, if Butch goes for a stone again, I'm putting a bullet in him.
By the way, ouch. So we snuck around to look at these people and overhear them from the library steps, which we saw over. First of all, does the clock on the town hall match any of our watches? And do the people in the park, are they dressed like something? Like Susan was? Or in Roman robes? Or...
So the clock in the town hall is fairly close to what your watches are. It's a little bit off, but nothing that can't be explained by it not being tuned properly for a couple weeks. Looking at the people in the park, there are probably 2 or 3 groups there. One is the largest one. After a little bit of watching them, you can make out that Ramses is there. They must have moved from the beach to the park area. There are there's 1 or 2 other groups there. One is about 5 or 6 people sitting around a Native American gentleman who's wearing what looks like a bison skin and has like a skull in front of him, like a deer skull in front of him, and he seems to be talking to the others. And then another one who looks like actually give me an idea roll. Everybody can give me idea rolls because you all would have looked over there.
24.
1.
18.
Oh, actually made it.
So it looks like we just lost Mason. So I'll explain this to him again if I can, when he comes back. But you see,
There he goes.
so you see another group, and this is maybe a dozen people or so. They look like they're trying to dress up as Vikings. They have the what looks like a buckets that they put horns on.
Cartoon Vikings.
Yeah, exactly. And they seem to be. One of them is carrying a burning torch and is wearing like an animal fur loincloth. And they seem to be wandering around, and you see every once in a while go up to a woman and say something to her, and then she'll like either turn away, or like some of the guys that the woman is with, or the people around the woman will kind of like push them away, and they start just basically they're going around the park trying to get talk to women for something.
Robert, I said, the danger in what you're proposing is, so far, up until now, nobody's really paid much attention to us. But you saw what happened when the sheriff attacked somebody with a stone, how he ended up. I'm not so sure. I know there's only 3 of them, but there could be 150 of them around the corner just waiting for these guys. And
the danger is doing nothing.
no, that's the way we sneak away from this whole situation. Let's go to the library. This is what we came here for.
I'm going to the library.
Okay. You go to the library, and like I said, the library is really more of a very large shed. You walk in there, and so far it's actually been the coolest of every place that you've been. It's almost bathed totally in shade, although there's ambient light coming in so that you can see pretty well. And there are a number of shelves with various books on them. You can see scattered at the lone table in the center of the room, and the room is maybe the whole place is like maybe like 8 feet by 10 feet, so not very large at all. Scattered on the table are a number of newspapers and magazines. So I mean, there's maybe 4 or 5 dozen books scattered around on the various shelves. Everything is kind of knocked over and in disarray. It looks like nobody has been here in a while to tidy up.
I have a couple things I want to look for, but I'm going to suggest to everybody, I said there's newspapers. Maybe we can see what's happened in the last few weeks.
Yeah, if anything has come into town since November, for one thing. And if anything happened that was unusual just before this change.
Right.
Well, you go and grab start looking through the newspapers and magazines, and you notice that there's none that are newer than late October or early November. And none of them are local newspapers. They're all like the New York Times or the Boston Herald or the Saturday Morning Post.
So we need to trace back something that happened in October, which I'm guessing is when whoever has the stones came to town.
What if there was some sort of an astrological event, like a meteorite or something? I wish we had access to like the astronomical observatory or something to find out that there was a falling star or something on this day. But I am going to go look up something that I have a weird, especially when that priest started moving, insect behavior, especially around fire or light.
And by the way, when we fled the Catholic Church and they were snaking toward us hungrily, did they come out into the sunlight, or did they not follow us at all?
No, they so to make sure that it's clarified, the priest was heading towards you guys to try to get you to join the worship. The others did not want to lose contact with him.
Right.
So that's why they were kind of going that way. But once you left, they did not follow you at all.
But it was like they were a caterpillar. It was very
that's
very strange.
They just didn't want to break the chain.
Right, exactly. They didn't want to lose touch of the priest who was holding the stone. Peter, go ahead and give me a luck roll.
Okay.
Actually, library use roll.
Okay.
That'll make more sense.
00. There's not a damn book on insects.
No, there are no insect books here.
Well, it's still my suspicion, but. And then we were looking at history of the town.
Yeah, I'm interested in looking for local history stuff.
So you actually find a book on that's kind of a local history book.
What's the lake called?
Red Lake.
Red Lake and Red Valley. Is it reddish though? Is there rust? Is there clay?
Yeah, there is like a reddish clay, which probably is where it gets the name from.
From the iron, yeah.
If I succeed in a library use roll, can I find something cooler than that?
Sure. What's go ahead and roll.
No, I screwed it up anyway.
So I'll say that you start kind of skimming through that book. You find out that the town was pretty much established in the late 1870s when copper was discovered on the outside of town, and that's when the first boom began of the town. And there were multiple mines that were over the next about 20 years or so that caused the town to just grow, and that lasted until the early 1900s, late 1890s, when there was 2 mine collapses, and then they finally shut down the last mines. And from then, for a couple years, the town kind of went into decline, and then after that, the spa opened up where at the hotel that you were at, and that's when the second boom of the town began, and that's when it really became the almost like resort town that it is. But beyond that, you're not finding anything else interesting about the town.
I want to look around to see if there are any Egyptian books or something, so I can learn more about Ra and Ramses.
Yeah, give me a library use roll.
Yeah. No, I
This
failed.
is
Yeah, this is very sparse. Most of the books here are books on gardening and popular books of the time, novels of the time, fiction. There's very few reference books, if any.
Okay, I desire to just stroll down deeper into the library and see if I find any.
I mean, it's essentially one room, so
Yeah.
what you see is what's there.
And you said that it was disheveled, like some things have been knocked over, and it doesn't seem like anyone's come to clean anything up.
Right. You get the impression that there have been people here who have been borrowing books or taking books, and just kind of rooting through things. And if there's a town librarian, they have not been here.
Let me guess. There's a bunch of books missing, all on ancient religion.
Well, there's a bunch of books missing. You can't tell what they were of.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Well, it depends on if they're using the Dewey Decimal System, and we can tell from where they're missing. But I want to see if we can pin down a date. So what I do is I go over to whatever the librarian's ledger is, where she shows, and see what the last book checked out was, because that would have been normal.
So the last book that you see that was checked out was that was actually written down being checked out was middle of December.
Mid-December.
So we don't have newspapers after late October, early November, but we still have functional behavior in the library for 4-6 weeks, maybe.
Can I see that the number of books being checked out is less and less and less and less?
Yes, the number of books being at least written down, being checked out, are less and less, and the dates become sporadic. And you even see that they're in different handwriting. So maybe it was almost like on an honor system at some point, and then people just stopped.
Can I see which books were checked out?
Yeah, a lot of them are again like novels and just reference books that you would consider normal for the time. You don't find anything. You do see a couple books on ancient history. So you see like a couple books on ancient Greeks, ancient Roman history, ancient Egyptian history.
Do I see any names that I recognize? Specifically, Arnold
Simpson,
Simpson,
Denby.
like that.
You don't.
Is there a card catalog?
No, there's not.
No. All right.
And there's nothing like, say, behind the librarian's counter, glass case books that aren't for general use.
No, definitely not. There's no. yeah, there's definitely nothing. It's not that organized.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. So, Peter, as you're looking through that, the only name that you may recognize is you see that in, say, November, a book on Greek history was checked out to a Celia Frothington, but that is it. That's
right. So that might be where she got it from.
Anything like theatrical costumes?
No, nothing like
Gear
that.
and clothing? Okay.
Nope.
And finally, how about a Greek lexicon, ancient Greek lexicon?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Well,
All right. Well, it's cool in here, and I don't feel like we're going to be attacked by anybody, but it's going to be a long time until it's dark. Do we want to get some food, or is there any place that anyone can think to look for Susan or Daniel?
what
We'll
time
check
is
if
it
you can
now?
galleries.
By this point, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock.
I mean, that the food at that diner wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was all right.
He gave us moonshine. I wouldn't mind a
Want to
little.
risk going back there? All right.
I don't feel like we're being followed. And if Rebecca is bad and suspicious of us, I don't know if she even leaves the building.
I think we have at least one advantage to think of, and that's that these people don't want to break contact with their host. So even if we see a big crowd, we would be able to run away from it faster than they could probably catch up to us because they're all trying to maintain contact with one another.
And we can run in 4 directions, and they can't because they
Right.
have to stay in contact.
Well,
Maybe-
Butch is going to run directly for them, though, so that's the issue there.
Well,
Yeah,
5
that's-
directions.
Direction. Yeah, that's the fourth direction.
I don't know, Butch. You better start pulling yourself together.
I'm fine.
One of these
dude.
times you're gonna make it past us, and then
How dare
What?
he?
we're gonna lose
My
you.
God, for my health. He just hit me on the head right here. You see that scar right there? It's gonna stay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You look like a bean now. So you got a head that's shaped like this.
So where are you guys gonna go?
Wait,
I'm sticking close to the Gilman cousins.
Do you want to stay here, or do you want to go up into the woods?
I'm keen for the woods.
Butch, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
I think we should go to one of the galleries. I don't think we've been to the Ray of Light gallery, have we?
We can head up that direction. I have a funny feeling nobody's there, but Mason was just suggesting we get something to eat.
Yeah, are we hungry?
Yeah,
Tyler?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you haven't eaten, Oscar. You don't know when the last time you're actually just starving.
Okay.
Let's
Let's go get some food, huh?
Okay. You start heading back toward. You're going to the same place, the Bell and Whistle Cafe. Right?
yeah. Was that
So-
Bob Crenshaw?
So you start heading back towards there. As you get closer to it, you can see that there's more and more people seem to be kind of congregating, towards the lake. More crowds. You get up to the Bell and Whistle Cafe, and it's still sunlight out. And you walk in, and you can see Bob Crenshaw is kind of standing at the front window, just looking out at the lake as you walk into the restaurant.
Bob, we're starving. Can we get some food?
Let's see if he even remembers us.
He just it's almost like he doesn't hear you. He's just continuing just to stare out.
I walk over to him and I put my hand on his shoulder. Bob, are you okay?
He kind of like snaps out of it and goes, sorry, I'm sorry. What did you say?
We're all kind of starving.
Oh, all right.
And
Well,
the food here's fantastic.
I can help out in the kitchen if you want.
no, that's okay. I'm good. Yeah, go ahead and have a seat. And I'll take your order.
All right.
Thank you. By the way, is the sun reflecting sharply off the lake right now?
Yes. So
Can I
everybody.
see sunlight on his face?
Oh yeah. I mean the sun is and you've seen this before, and actually, everybody, go ahead and give me if you have a science skill of physics, go ahead and roll that. Otherwise, give me a EDU roll and let me know what type of success you get.
How about psychology? Is that useful?
No, not
Got
psychology.
biology.
An
If we don't have a
education
science,
roll?
I got
if we don't have a science, what do we roll?
EDU.
Okay.
I got a 33.
I got a 36.
20.
I have a 45 education, but I rolled an 02.
All right. So, other than Odie, did anybody get either a hard success or better?
Hard success.
I got 1 point to be a hard, but I don't have a hard.
All right. So Odie and Butch, you two noticed that the sun when you were walking into the restaurant, and even now, you notice that the sun is much larger than it ever should be. Even from yesterday, it almost appears like the sun is closer to where you're at.
Okay. People, I'm not a scientist or anything, but when the sun goes around the Earth, does it ever come closer to the Earth like that?
It's actually closer in the winter.
Okay.
In this hemisphere.
It
But
just
not
wasn't.
that much closer.
It
I
just
think I
wasn't.
might have hit him too hard.
Yeah,
Nah.
the Earth is here, and then the sun is usually all the way here, but then the sun is spinning around the Earth. But then, does it ever come closer to the Earth and so does it look bigger?
Not really.
Jeez, how hard did I hit you?
It wasn't the conch on his head, but you know what?
We go take a look
Right.
at what he's talking about.
Just it looks, something doesn't look right about that sun. Because I'm always losing my watch at poker games, except for this one, and I usually use the sun to tell the time, and something don't look right about that.
I'm gonna try my little trick again and poke a hole in a piece of paper and.
You do that, and before you measured, you use that to measure, how big the sun dot was. It's bigger than before.
What in God's name, or God's gods, or non-God, or
It's some kind of lens. It's got to be some sort of weird. The radiation is making a bubble in the atmosphere, and that's causing some kind of lensing effect, right?
I don't know what's going on here.
Thinking back to my vision that I had, that I was being pulled towards a star.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get the feeling that what we're looking at isn't the sun?
No, it looks like what the sun to look like.
But it's not where the sun should be.
But it's
what we were expecting.
it's not where the sun should be, and it's much larger than it should be.
Can I see any other suns in the sky?
No.
No. Okay. So just okay.
When I look at the horizon, are the mountains on the horizon still have snow on the tops of them?
The ones in the distance, yeah, that you've seen before.
Look at the lake. Does the lake look out of place? Does it look different? Something off about it?
Looks like it might be slightly smaller than it was yesterday.
Right. So that's what I'm thinking is, if this sun is closer, wouldn't that dehydrate the lake more? So there would be, I don't know what you call it, but where the water has evaporated, you would be able to see a clear line of where the lake should be and where the lake is now. Does it look like the water is receding?
Yes. And as you kind of think that or point it out, everybody give me sanity checks, because this is all kind of dawning on you as you're sitting around, and that this is
failed.
Physically is not possible for this to happen.
A pass.
If you pass, lose 1. If you failed, lose D3.
It's 1 down for me. My loony theory about lensing via radiation appears to protect me.
I lost 1, by the way.
I lost 1.
So as this is going on, Bob comes out and he sets plates of food in front of about half of you.
Spaghetti and meatballs.
Thanks, Bob.
In front of half of us?
Yeah, and then he says, the rest of the food will be out in a minute. And he kind of goes into the back kitchen.
So who got food?
We'll say Robert, Butch, and Mason. You guys go.
Thank you.
I'm so hungry.
He said he was going to take our orders, but he didn't take our orders. He just randomly brought half of his food.
Right.
Yeah, he's in the same. Look,
Didn't he have somebody else working here when we were here earlier?
No.
It was just him cooking.
Back to the lake.
How's everybody's math? Anybody got any math?
Average.
There's got to be a way that we can calculate how far that sun is away from us.
Oh, I'm no scientist.
Well, I know that sounds. I just have the funniest feeling, and I sort of look out the windows at that sun, and I'm like, what if that's not the sun, and it's not that far away?
But here's my other thought as well.
And it's getting closer.
If the water's getting further back, that means the snow is getting further away. So this area of our snow. No, but I'm saying the valley, like where the snow and everything started, where we came in, that's going to be getting bigger.
That's what I was thinking. Except that look at the snow on all the mountains; it's still there. What if
they're too far away?
What if whatever that is up in the sky is right above the valley?
And what if it's blacking out the real sun?
It's getting closer to the lake, but it's not getting any closer to the mountains.
I remember reading in a primer when I was a kid, there's a Greek thing where they went a distance apart that they knew, and they both had sticks and they measured shadows.
The shadows.
If we sat down for half an hour, maybe we could figure it out. But
we'd have to have.
You make a triangle. It's a Pythagoras thing.
Right. We'd have to have one person on one side of the town, one person on this side of the town, and synchronize their watches. And I don't know. We don't have compasses. We don't have any of that. I just want to get out of this town before we're all fried.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other point. Okay. The lake. We know it's evaporating. Is there a bunch of dead fish in the water?
Well, they'd be just in the water part.
Right. But I want to make sure it's not poison.
No, you haven't seen anything like that.
I mean, we've been talking about radiation and poisoning and drugs.
And people are swimming in the water, right? And playing in it?
Oh, yeah. Well, not as many as there were yesterday. They all seem to be more congregating in various groups.
Is it perceivably hotter than it has been in the days?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's hotter today than it was yesterday?
It's hotter than this morning than it was. Or hotter than it was this morning.
So okay, I got to redo this whole thing, because if that's a ball of fire, a few 100 miles away above the valley, where does it go at night?
Well, with that, as you say that, the outside, you can see it starts to get dark, and it's almost like a cloud or like thick clouds have passed in front of the sun, but it just continually gets darker and darker until within almost like 30 seconds it's nighttime.
So the sun doesn't move like that out of the way. It just gets darker and darker and fades.
You never saw it.
Okay, wait a minute. Is this the normal time it gets dark?
You look at your watches and it actually says that it's like 10 o'clock at night. You don't know how, but somehow between the time that you left the library and you got here and have been sitting here, it's been a number of hours, although to you it has not felt like it.
So the sun,
and we still don't have food.
The sun in winter stays up till 10 o'clock at night, and then instead of slowly receding like we know the sun to do, it just disappears. It just quickly, like an eclipse or something.
Exactly. And Oscar, yes, you still don't have food. And you looked in the back of the kitchen and you don't even see Bob there anymore.
Is
Okay.
the
Okay.
food,
We're going, guys. We need to get out of here.
is the
And it-
food on the table still warm?
Or was it even delivered warm?
The people who got it, did you start eating it when you
I'll
got
taste it.
Yeah.
I'll taste it.
I
Is
was
it cold?
actually polite.
Is it cold spaghettios?
Yeah,
I
it's
got a
lukewarm.
sandwich.
It's not,
If we didn't just fall asleep and not realize it for 4 hours.
not that you remember. I mean,
I'm starving, so I'm going to eat some of the food that was
I'll
left,
share.
guys.
If you guys are hungry, we can get some food in the kitchen. We'll just go in there and
That's
and
good.
when you start eating, you hear the door, the front door, the bell on the door of the cafe or whatever it is, open up, and people start to come in and start sitting at the table, and the entire place starts to fill up rather quickly with
Guys.
people who are now they look even now they look more tan or sunburned, and they all seem very very hungry and famished.
Disheveled and
Disheveled. People are kind of like starting to push and shove as they're, some people are, almost immediately when they sit down, they start yelling out for a waiter. It starts to become almost like you have a rush.
We should go. I think
Things
we
are
should
going
go.
to get
Let's get out.
ugly.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's get out.
Let's take what food we got and get the hell out of here.
No, I don't think I want this food.
I ate it. It never did
No,
not
I'm
me.
eating the food. I'm starving. I'm eating the food.
I mean,
So you guys get out of there, and are you going out the front door or the back door?
Back. I'm going to the back.
The back door.
Right. So as you leave the back door, there's just more and more people coming in. You can see a line start, forming out in front. When you go out the back door, you can kind of look down the streets and, even look towards the beach and the boardwalk, and you see that the groups have started to disperse, and, people they're not wandering wildly or randomly. They seem to all be looking for, places to get something to eat. But, people are getting a little bit of violence. Yeah, aggressive. You even see a fight or two break out where, somebody bumped somebody else, and, they just take it the wrong way, and, fists go flying.
Can we hear
Well-
what people are talking about?
The voices that you can hear and the people that you can hear, they're mostly just talking about, where to get something to eat. You hear people saying that, the cafe is already full. Let's go over to the deli, or the gas station may have something, or something like that. Everybody seems to be that very focused on the fact that they're starving. You do also hear other people kind of lamenting that it's nighttime. That you hear every once in a while somebody will say something like, they wish that the sun was back out so they could get back to what they were doing.
Mason, you wanted to know what happens when the food runs out. I think you're about to find out.
I
Well, I
we
think
need
this
to
is the
get
right
home.
time to start our search for Daniel. Now's as good as time as any. Everyone's eating, so
Just don't piss anybody off at this point.
yeah, I think we should all be really careful.
Did you want me to go and try and find out anything from Rebecca?
No, leave Rebecca alone. I think that if she's part of this, she might be dangerous. I don't know.
She's got to be a part of it. She's the only sane one here besides us.
So
I think that we might want to not actively be looking for Daniel or Susan right now. We might want to get off the streets and let this feeding frenzy resolve.
Yeah.
I'll even say that
Involving
as
mass
you
violence.
guys were going out the back of the cafe, you were able to grab some food as well for yourselves.
Okay.
So you
Like a
all,
loaf of bread and stuff, yeah.
you all are able to at least get something to eat. So where are you gonna go?
We haven't been to the gallery, or
Well, it's definitely nighttime now. There are kind of
We took our stuff out of the
wandering around.
Yeah, we've left the hotel.
Airbnb so we could move into the shelter of the woods.
Yeah,
Soon we won't see a lot of crazy people.
Okay. So let's do this because we're kind of coming to the end. Is everybody in agreement that that's where you're going to go? Is try to find like a place in the woods to kind of bed down for the night?
Right. A place where there's lots of trees so that it's shady during the daytime.
Okay.
And I suggest tomorrow, when the sun comes up and we know these people are preoccupied, we do a scavenge hunt for canned food, portable food that doesn't need refrigeration, and store it someplace because they're going to be running out of food real quick.
I agree.
I feel like we should do a lot of our investigating at night as well.
Yeah.
These stones might have less power.
All right. So we'll say that you find a place in the woods to camp out. It is right on the just northeast of where the park is. So if on your maps, if you see where the park is, if you go directly across the street, you should see some houses, and behind that some very thick woods. You find that you go back into the woods, maybe a couple hundred yards, and you find almost like a nice, like it's like a pine tree forest. So there you find a large area with some soft needles on it. The moon is just providing enough ambient light that you can see things. So is anybody going to do anything before you guys kind of bed down for the night?
Yeah, I'm not sure that we want to bed down immediately, but we set our camp there.
Okay.
Do we want to walk around the town and see if we can find Daniel and Susan in some group that's just...
I strongly think that now that we don't have most of the supporters of any group eating or something, now would be the time to approach the priests, because they'd probably be alone and defenseless. So we should probably head to one of the places we know the stones are. And
what do you want to make a bet? What do you want to make a bet that the priest or priestesses are the first ones to get fed?
I don't know why we're still trying to grab one of those stones.
Yeah. I don't want to be anywhere near the stones. I think we need to go look, as you said, we need to look for Daniel and Susan and get the heck out of it. That's what we've came here to do. Let's go find them.
See, I think that it makes sense to do some kind of...
beyond us. Yeah.
It makes sense to do some sorts of research at night because they don't have solar power. But mostly, I think we want to walk around during the day when they're all occupied holding hands. And as far as we've seen so far, they'll leave you alone if you don't interfere with that. So if we're going to pull Daniel out of a group or pull Susan out of a group, that will be a moment that we interfere and we're in danger. But we can, what do we do? Walk around a town at night just shining flashlights on every face? Like, that makes no sense to me.
And you did see, as you were heading back this way, you did see, people in groups wandering around, and they did not look happy. Just like Mason said, it was not like during the day where everybody was kind of in groups and stationary. People are absolutely wandering around now, and they seem to be more aggressive than they were during the day.
We could find a small group and confront them.
What we can do is we can walk around and see if we can find the group that Susan belongs to. People dressed in Chinese or Japanese costume.
And at least ask her where Daniel is.
And then at least, we don't have to ask anything. At least we'll know where that group is. And then if we want to do something later, we'll have located them. We'll know where we are.
Yeah, that seems like a good plan.
Okay. All right. Well, then, so you know where your kind of like camping area is. You head back onto the street, and if you look on the map, we'll say that you kind of come out of the woods on Jefferson Avenue, which is just north of the park. North of the park in the town hall, and almost as soon as you step onto the road, this couple, a young man and a young woman, just come crashing into you. They were running. They kind of fall to the ground. They come crashing into Robert and Odie. The woman is just she's got this look of absolute fear on her face, and the man that she's with is picks himself up really fast and starts pulling her along and says, we have to go. And as you
hey, wait, what's wrong? Maybe we can help you.
He just kind of points behind, and you look and you see a group of about a dozen people coming down the road with boards or bats and sticks and that.
Yeah, maybe we should follow them.
Heading right towards you, right towards these two.
Yeah, we're following them.
No, run.
And with that, that's where we'll end it.
Okay.
Friggin' lynch mob.
Wow. Our players included Jerry Bryant, Vinesh Ramakrishnan, David Gasway, Zane Fleming, Jason Melnichuk, and myself, with Tyler Hudak as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to become a patron, visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch that bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We love reading them. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.